I made 16,635 pounds in the last 7 days in my marketing agency, give or take about 22,000 US dollars. And we did that by selling AI services to local businesses. And in today's video, I'll show you exactly how I've done that so that you can pretty much, go ahead and implement the exact same steps as well. But before I do, let me first refresh this page to actually show you that these are real numbers and that I'm not faking anything. As you can see right here, in a period of 7 days, 16,635 pounds generated. So that being said, let's get into exactly what I want to show you in today's video when it comes down to selling AI to local businesses in your marketing agency. The number one thing is the actual niche. You want to work within a niche or a niche, however you want to spell it, where you actually have a relatively high possibility of succeeding in a sense. And that really comes down to you working with local businesses that are not kind of like tech savvy to a point where they know how to build out these AI infrastructures themselves, but also they have a relatively high customer value. Because all this means is that you would just need to help them get anywhere between 1 to 4 clients, and that already pays off your entire service fee. And it's much more easier to get them between 1 to 4 clients than to get them like 20 or 30 clients. Okay, so here's a couple of examples of local niches or niches that you can pretty much pick out from in a sense. For us personally, we work with law firms. So for us, some of these clients that we are working with, their average client could be worth between $10 to $15 to $20,000. So that means that we just need to get them like 1 or 2 clients, and that already pays off our entire service fee. Okay. And from there on out, you also want to find out which market segment specifically is going to be the most profitable for you, because you can't just work with any type of local business that's making any sort of revenue in a sense, because if you're going to be selling them a high ticket service, if they are on a level where they don't really make too much money, then they're not going to be able to afford working with you, right? Usually the starting point that I see working quite well is local businesses making at least 20K plus. Okay, so if you're going to work, let's say with HVAC companies or roofing companies or whatever, then you can be aiming for those type of businesses that are making at least 20K plus. So this way, when you actually do charge them, they don't have a problem paying you your high ticket fee. And then as well, on top of that, the advertising spend. Okay. So with us, like I said, we work with law firms, and for them, they don't really have any issues paying us a high ticket service fee. Depending on the client that we're going to work with, we will customize the pricing a little bit, but we have a lot of clients that have paid us $15,000 for a service fee, as you can see right here. And that is literally because, we have chosen the right profitable market segment for us. So you want to do the same thing as well. Okay. From there on out, what exactly are you going to be selling? So really, when it comes down to this, every single local business, what do they want? Is just one thing. They want more clients. They want more business, right? But there are a couple of things they need to have in place in order to actually successfully be able to do that. Number one, they need to generate leads that are actually qualified. Number two, they need to book appointments. And number three, they need to sell and actually close these deals, okay? Now, if you don't have the infrastructures for actually helping them with the sales calls, by placing a closer or whatever, then the absolute best that you can really do is help them with creating a sales script and a sales funnel that's going to increase their conversion rate, okay? But let me break down every single one of these steps right here in detail. Number one, lead generation. The best way how I found when it comes down to generating leads for these local businesses is going to be through using ads. Whether that's social media ads such as Facebook or Instagram, or Google ads, depending on what type of local business you're going to work with. So use either one of those two. And then from there on out, if you're going to use Facebook ads or Instagram ads, you obviously want to create the ad creatives, whether that is, graphics or video ads, okay? And there's a couple of different softwares that you can use for this when it comes down to this. Number one, you can create, ad creatives with graphics using Canva. That's usually what I advise to start off with. It's very easy to make. You can pretty much create a couple of different ad creatives with graphics that you can pretty much go ahead and copy paste for every single client, but you just change the logo and a couple of words here and there. But the other thing that you can do is you can use a software called HeyGen. This is the software right here. And when you actually log into the dashboard, you can use UGC AI creators to pretty much create a video UGC for your clients that you can run as the ads. Okay. So you just simply navigate to avatars right here. And then you have a bunch of different UGC creators that you can choose from. You just click on whichever you want. Okay, and then you click on create the video, and then right here you actually want to include a script. Now, when it comes down to the script, you can literally use ChatGPT. When it comes down to creating a script, here is a prompt that I've used that you can pretty much go ahead and use as well. You might need to go a little bit back and forth with ChatGPT in order to actually perfect the script itself. But once it's done, you just simply go ahead and copy the thing. Obviously put it right here. And then after that, make sure everything else is written here as well. And then you click on generate, and it's going to create the actual video. And it actually does an insanely good job when it comes down to this. Because if I show you one of the example pieces of content we made for one of our clients here, you can see that actually looks really, really good.
Think your accident only cost you car repairs. There's more to it than that. Beyond car repairs, accidents can lead to medical bills, lost wages, and long-term injuries that affect your quality of life. You may even face unexpected costs like therapy, mobility aids, or home mod.
So you get the point. Obviously, the B-rolls have been added by our team, but when it comes down to the UGC creator themselves, you can see it looks extremely, extremely good. So you can literally use HeyGen when it comes down to that. From there on out, the second thing you want to do is you want to help them with appointment setting in the sales funnel. Now, when it comes down to the sales funnel, you just go high level to create their landing pages, email, and SMS automations. And then you also want to use the AI dialers and AI chatbots that are going to go ahead and get in touch with their leads. You can use a software called synflow.ai. I'm not going to explain in this video exactly how to go about building out the entire chatbot and the entire voice AI system, but Synflow AI is one of the best ones out there that you can use when it comes down to creating an AI agent that actually calls all the leads and speaks with them over the phone, pre-qualifies them, and actually books in the appointments. And then you can also create chatbot AI using GHL. So on go high level, there is an option for you to create a chatbot where you just need to upload some information for it. And then after that, any leads that come through, you can pretty much have that chatbot be conversating via SMS with those leads, okay? And then the other thing that I also recommend to do is to place a VA to oversee the entire process. So for every client that you have one VA, or you can have one VA for multiple clients depending on how many they can handle, but have a VA in place who pretty much oversees the entire process and make sure that the entire AI is actually working and there is no issues. The third thing that you can help them with as well is the social media content. Okay, now a lot of local businesses, they like the idea of having social media content that pretty much gets them to a point where they grow organically without the need of using paid ads, and then eventually becoming the go-to local business in their specific geographical area. Okay, that is an insanely good selling point that you can have on your sales calls. That's why for our partners, we pretty much go ahead and produce social media content as well. And you can use ChatGPT for coming up with the content ideas and scripts. But here's a couple of styles of content we've seen working really well. You can have reaction videos, you can have education videos, Q&As, and results. And you can even use HeyGen UGC AI to pretty much go ahead and create all these videos for you. Another thing that you can do is you can use 11 Labs to actually clone the client's voice. And then you can have like a video with B-rolls and you can have the client's voice over that video. And you can have videos like that created as well. Or alternatively, you can literally even use HeyGen to clone the entire client, okay? Because there is an option on HeyGen where you can actually create your own, basically your own avatar, right? And what that basically means is that you just have to pretty much follow through the instructions that HeyGen walks you through here, and then you can create your own UGC AI. So you can have your clients literally be cloned as a UGC AI right here, and they don't even have to record any pieces of content themselves. You just go on HeyGen, write a script, and it basically creates the entire thing, okay? And then the other thing as well that works extremely well is you using AI to actually edit the entire video. So there is a software called SMMA that pretty much allows you to edit the video using AI. All that you have to do is obviously create an account right here. Then you upload the video, okay? And then from there on out, really what happens is that pretty much it does all the job for you. It's gonna put the captions on the video. You can also trim specific parts of the video. You can choose a style of captions. It's gonna add emojis on the captions as well. You can pretty much have B-roll being added on the video as well using their tool called Magic B-rolls, audio, etc., etc. And it looks extremely good actually, because if I show an example video right here, it's done an incredibly good job when it comes down to editing. We generated $43,000 for this law firm without them having to deal with unqualified leads, but more importantly, we did that without the attorney having to take even a single consultation. And in today's video, I'll show you exactly how we've done that and also how we are generating these qualified leads. But before I do, let me show you some proof first. So as you can see, that's a pretty crispy video right there, okay? So this is the service that you're gonna sell these guys. Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to create an irresistible offer for your own marketing agency. When it comes down to some details of the offer, I advise you to have a program that's 90 days that provides enough time to actually get them results, provide enough support and things like that, okay? And the price that you should be pricing your service at is anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. Now, you might charge even more than that depending on how much value you pretty much provide to the client, meaning that how much revenue they generate themselves from your service. But I wouldn't advise to go anywhere below $10,000 because at that point it doesn't really make too much sense. And from your acquisition cost, you might not be that profitable in a sense. That's why 10K minimum. And from here now, you want to create an offer that's actually going to be extremely irresistible, okay? And the goal is to get it to such a point where people just feel stupid not to actually book a call with you. The way how you can go about doing this is by actually funnel hacking other marketing agencies that are working within your existing niche already. So you want to use Facebook ads library to find out other marketing companies and seeing what offers they're running. So for example, you can choose, you can use the word guaranteed, and then you can also obviously include right here the niche itself that you want to be doing the funnel hacking for. And this is going to show you a bunch of ads, and a lot of these ads are actually going to be from marketing companies. And what you really want to be looking out for here is you want to find out marketing companies running ads and seeing what type of offers they're running. And preferably you want to see older ads that are at least 1 month old, because that means that if they're running that ad for a whole month, then it probably means that that stuff is working for them, because nobody's going to be spending money for a whole month on an ad if it's actually not generating good results in return, okay? So here's a couple of companies you can look at. For example, is Arc AI Services. You can click on view ads. You can take a look at some of the other ads that they're running. As you can see for these guys, looks like they are running an offer where it's 10 estimate appointments in 30 days, guaranteed or they don't pay. And you can look at a bunch of other ones as well. Now, one thing that's very important is for you to actually have a guarantee in your offer, because you want to market a guarantee in your marketing campaigns, okay? And the reason for this is because it pretty much mitigates any risk on your client's end. And that in turn massively decreases your cost per booked appointment. But the thing is that you don't necessarily have to sell that guarantee. You can hop on a sales call with the client, you can walk them through the entire process, you can show them that, hey, in order for us to get you this result, we need you to have X as a condition, for example, a marketing spend of, I don't know, like 20K, 30K a month on ads. But if you don't have that budget, then that's completely fine, because we have another offer, which is this offer right here. So then you pretty much downsell them on an offer that's much, much easier for you to actually deliver. But the reason why I want to have a relatively crazy offer in the marketing campaigns is because of the fact that it's going to massively decrease your cost per booked appointment. And here's a couple examples of offers you can really choose from. We've already seen these and it's working really well. The point is, do some funnel hacking, take a look on Facebook ads library as some of your competitors, see what offers they're running, and then pretty much, you want to spend about an hour or 2 hours on that. And then you're going to get pretty much a good amount of data that you can choose from, and then pretty much figure out your own offer right there. And from there on out, let's talk about actually how you are going to be going about booking calls. Because I've tried out a bunch of different things when it comes down to booking appointments for my marketing agencies. I've tried out cold emails, Instagram DMs, cold calling, all sorts of different things. But what I've seen working time and time again, that's the most consistent and the most profitable and the most scalable really, is literally using Facebook ads to book calls for my own marketing company, okay? That's why I would advise you to pretty much use the same exact thing as well. Use Facebook ads and book calls, and you don't need to have a crazy budget on this, by the way. As long as you have 30 to 50 bucks a day that you can invest into this, then you can get started with Facebook ads. You don't need to have hundreds of dollars to get started with it, okay? And when it comes down to doing this, you can use HeyGen as well to pretty much go ahead and create your UGC AI videos, but then also you can use some static images. And here's a couple that I've seen working extremely well that you can pretty much steal after watching this video. This one is one right here, here is another one, and then here is another one. Now this one in the middle, this black one, I've seen working extremely well for me specifically, because this one right here is the absolute winner. It has generated for me alone upwards of a couple $100,000 up until now, just literally from this static image right here. So you can pretty much go ahead and steal it from me and start using it yourself as well. Now, when you actually run the ads, you want to use a Facebook lead form campaign objective. Now, I'm not going to explain in detail exactly how to go about creating it. I might record another video someday about how to do it. But you want to start off with lead forms. From there on out, once people fill out the lead form, you want to send them to a landing page to actually book an appointment. And after that, you want to send them to a thank you page. So here's an example of a landing page. You have the market color right here, mention the offer, and then have a VSL or a DSL right here. Now, if you don't know what a DSL is, it's basically a VSL, but in a deck format. You can then pretty much go ahead and translate everything from a VSL in text, put it onto a DSL, and then you have the DSL right here. But you can use either VSL or a DSL. And then at the bottom here, make sure that you actually attach your calendar for them to actually book a call. Now, once they have booked an appointment, you want to send them to a thank you page. And here's an example of a thank you page. The thank you page, the entire purpose of it is to have more information here about, what exactly is that you do. Also case studies, client testimonials, as much social proof as possible. And then as well, a couple of details and instructions. How can they ensure that they get the most out of the go together with you? Okay, so you can pretty much go ahead and steal this exact same layout of the landing page yourself. Okay. From there on out, what you really want to do as well is you want to hire an appointment setter/triager who is going to call all of your leads that are coming in to ensure show-ups and also convert some people that haven't booked in an appointment yet. Now, for this, I would advise you to find somebody from Argentina. You can literally get people from Argentina that are in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, close to it in a sense, that are going to be able to actually call out for leads, assuming if you actually are doing marketing and you're running your ads in the US as well. And you can get somebody for literally $400 a month, plus performance fees, where the performance fees are $10 per each qualified show-up appointment that they book for you. I don't advise to use AI dialers for your own agency, because for us, typically, the actual clients that we are going to be working with are going to be relatively sophisticated buyers. They get cold called and reached out to by so many marketing companies to a point where you need to be extremely good on the phone to actually handle their objections and things like that. That's why, in my personal experience, I've seen actual humans to be working much, much better when it comes down to these B2B side of things. But when it comes down to you working with your clients, where it's B2C, then using AI when it comes down to doing the intake is completely fine. But from there on out, you have the appointment setter who calls them, pre-qualifies them as well, make sure that they show up to the appointments and things like that. And then from there on out, once they book an appointment, you also want to go ahead and launch a couple of retargeting ads for them to consume some more content in order to increase the show-up rates and the closing rate. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and create anywhere between 4 to 8 ads, preferably video ads, where you have case studies and some breakdowns of your offer. And then when they book a call, they're seeing these videos before they even hop on a sales call with you. Increases the show-up rate, as I mentioned, and it also increases your actual closing rate because they're way more nurtured before they speak with you. So that's about how you go about booking calls. And the last thing I want to walk you through right here is the actual onboarding and the fulfillment process that you can use for your clients. So once you obviously close the deal, the client is on board. What you want to do after that is you want to obviously send them the onboarding funnel, they sign an agreement, get access to their ideal audience, information, their goals, any previous marketing data that they might have. And then from there on out, invite them on your communication channel, whatever that is, Slack or maybe something else that you might be using. Book in the actual strategy session, which is the onboarding call and rewards. And then from there on out, obviously run through the onboarding call. Then after that, schedule your weekly check-in calls with the client, and then send any remaining homework that the client needs to do before you're able to pretty much get started with the work. From there on out, you want to start building out the sales funnel on Go High Level, create their phone number there, the landing pages, calendars, the workflows, Zapier automations, pre-call lead nurturing systems, etc., etc. Then go ahead and create the very first ad angles, the first ad creatives, ad copies, offers, etc., etc. Get that prepared. From there on out, create the actual intake system itself. So using voice AI, using Synflow AI, and then chatbots using the GHL chatbot feature that they have. From there on out, also go ahead and create the Facebook and the Instagram lead form connected to your Slack channel with the Zapier, so that it sends the automation messages on the Slack channel whenever somebody, a new lead comes in, things like that. And then go ahead and produce the social media content using AI, using HeyGen, and things like that I just walked you through. Once you have all the fundamentals right here built out, then you go ahead and actually launch. And when it comes down to launching, you can first use, pretty much you can start off with lookalike audiences. So ask the client to give you their past client data. You can also use interests and then just simply broad open targeting across their local area, whatever, right? From there on out, what I've seen working really well as far as the campaign structure goes is having one campaign with 3 to 6 ad sets in it, where you have the ad budget optimization structure. And in each single of these ad sets, you have between 3 to 6 ads. Once again, you can use HeyGen to go ahead and create the UGC AI videos, or alternatively, you can also use graphic static ads that you can create using Canva, okay? Once you launch them, you let them run for about 72 hours. Then you review the numbers, make sure that everything is within KPI, such as the cost per lead, the quality of the leads, the cost per booked appointment, etc., etc. If it's not, then you want to analyze the data and see why that is. And from there on out, either develop new ad creative angles or edit the existing ones, create new ad copies, create new offers, etc., etc., and then launch the next iteration of ads. Let it run for 72 hours once again. Then you go back into the step, make sure that everything is within KPI. If it is now within KPI, then you want to ask yourself a question: are you able to scale? Because if everything is working really well, the cost per book call is really good, then you pretty much have the option of going ahead and moving to the scaling phase. Or if you see that it's not the right time yet, maybe you need a bit more data, then obviously you keep running it, okay? And then once again, revisit after 2 days and see whether or not you're ready to scale. Now, I'm not gonna explain in this video how to go about scaling. That deserves a completely separate video by itself. But in either case, this is the entire structure. And really what you're trying to do right here is you're trying to find out which specific ads or ad sets, in other words, have the cheapest cost per lead and a cheapest cost per qualified book call, while everything is still, qualified. Because not always the cheapest lead is going to be the best. Okay, sometimes the more expensive lead is going to be the best. But you want to find out what's working really well in a way that it's getting you qualified leads and qualified booked appointments for your client, while the costs are actually really good. So this way you can then go in and pretty much look into the options of scaling. So this is the entire structure, guys. This is the entire system that I've used to generate this revenue for my own marketing company. If you found this video helpful, then drop a like, subscribe, I guess, leave a comment down below if you got any questions. But else than that, I'll see you in the next one.